Welcome. This is the Late Late Show with BT, where views with security and the law are being provided to the public. We are still adjusting to our new location in new time and everything that's different and new. So some of our regular segments and things that we've included will find its way back into it in April. We are still using the beat, and that's all of the beat stations as our selection. And as was mentioned before, as was mentioned on our Facebook page, we have an interest in Lord as Lord with Lord and Taylor Swift as opening and closing. So we've been kind of getting the feel for that as well before it starts. And, we're going to see how that works after as well. So we're going to begin with our Beyond Serious topics. What your baby really needs. Bath time. And bath time includes a baby tub, bath lotion, baby wash, shampoo, bath sponge and cloths, hooded towels, brush or comb, nail clippers, bath caddy, and a spout cover. Build your baby the perfect nursery. From shabby chic to their favorite characters, putting together your baby's nursery is both fun and exciting. A convertible crib that transforms into a toddler bed would lengthen the life of the piece. A changing table that's also a dresser is both a space and money saver. Also, decorative storage pieces provide both function and fashion. Build your baby the perfect nursery. Make bath time a fun time. There's no need to bath your baby every day, but when it is bath time, here are a few pointers for making sure it is both a relaxing and safe time. It is best to always keep one hand on your infant while bathing. Babies get chilled quickly, so make sure your bathroom is comfortably warm. Try for around 75 degrees. As your child grows and moves from an infant tub into the family tub, you may want to use a bath seat or ring to keep them upright and comfortable. So before we go on to, because we are catching up, and we're going to go to the beat, where it all began for me, 106.5. So since we hear the Late Late Show with BT, we value our time and how it's used, and how it's used with, especially with regards to this community. We're going to focus on time for this show. So Walter Isaacson, time to build a more secure internet. So now may be time for a little renovation. The roots of the internet's design come from the network built by the Pentagon's Advanced Research Projects Agency to enable research centers to share computer resources. But the engineers who actually devised the traffic rules for the ARPANET, many of whom were graduate students avoiding the draft during the Vietnam War, were not focused on the military uses of the net. The internet is still being designed this way. By the end of 2014, there were 7435 approved RFCs. Times editors were a bit arrogant back then, I know because I was one, and refused to print it because they said they had a better source. The designers might not have known it, but the way he got funding for the ARPANET was by emphasizing its military utility. I was on top, explained to Crocker. I was on top and you were on the bottom, so you really had no idea what was going on. To which Crocker replied with a dab of humor, masking a dollop of wisdom. I was on the bottom and you were on the top, so you had no idea what was going on. A decade of escalating hacks raises the question of whether it's now desirable to create mechanisms that will permit users to choose to be a part of a parallel internet that offers less anonymity and greater verification of user identity and message origin. Nevertheless, building a better system for verifying communications is both doable and for most users desirable. But it could tip the balance in the daily struggle against the hordes of spammers, phishers, and ordinary hackers who spread malware, scoff up credit card data, and attempt to lure people into sending their bank account information to obscure addresses in Nigeria. Because we started this on the web, you know, yes, we are, there's a lot that makes up this when it comes to security and, preparing to be televised, whether it's live broadcast on radio, whether it's live broadcast on television, but there's still the security when it comes to the web and the internet. And it's important to be able to, fortunately for us, we have that discernment when it comes to those two. And that's how we go about, our security, especially when it's, there's issues that we are up against, such as pedophilia and pedophiles. I attempted, and I say attempted because I didn't complete watching the entire show, but there was a movie that I thought it was going to be addressing certain issues with regards to the internet. It was supposed to be about someone, arranging certain encounters with people using the internet. But unfortunately, there was I wouldn't necessarily call it intentional molest, but there's just, with the title of it, which I'm not going to say, but with the title of it and with that particular encounter that was presenting itself, it did not warrant a finished viewing. But yeah, what I thought that it was going to be, because we are a web show and, with what we have on the internet, that it would be a good viewing experience and something that could, vibe about on the show. But unfortunately, that wasn't the situation. So, that this may contribute, our show may contribute to, some projects or films that contribute to the security when it comes to live broadcasting on the internet, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Bambuser, whether it's whatever medium, or whatever contributor that is out there, but where there is something that has that that helps keep the pedophiles out and child molesters that we seek to protect our community from. Psychologist David Schnark The book is an unfortunate form of sex education for many people. Michael Schur, as part of a lawsuit accusing the Justice Department of botching a major sex crime prosecution, attorneys Bradley Edwards and Paul Cassell, a former federal judge, laid out the shocking claims of their latest client, Jane Doe number 3, who has been named elsewhere as Virginia Roberts. She says she has been kept as who's been named elsewhere as Virginia Roberts. Cassell's suit has the potential to both reopen the long-closed case and force the Justice Department to change the way it deals with crime victims during plea negotiations. Several of the victims, including those like Roberts, who later settled civil lawsuits, were bothered by the leniency of the deal. Corruption. Former Virginia governor was sentenced January the 6th to 2 years in prison after being convicted on federal corruption charges. His wife, who was also found guilty of corruption, will be sentenced on February the 20th, or who have already been through that situation, February the 20th. The contents of a package that Adams and Paul Revere buried in a cornerstone of the Massachusetts State House in 1795 were revealed by the Boston Museum of Fine Arts on January the 6th. In the dark world of cybercrime, can turnabout be fair play? Just days before, a man who calls himself the Jester hacked an Al-Qaeda propaganda website and put up satirical cartoons from the French newspaper Charlie Hebdo, along with the words "Je suis Charlie." And by that measure, should the Jester be punished as well? Every year, hackers steal roughly $300 billion worth of information, from intellectual property to classified state secrets, according to a 2013 study by the Center for Strategic and International Studies. The proposals won't clarify the rules on hacking back, but they could help prevent the next big breach. So, as you know, I guess a benefit of having our show is not to not cast or to not put any support with wrongdoing, but we do acknowledge that sometimes when things are repetitive, when it's the same offense and it's the same offender, and there's no justice to the same offense or regarding the same offender, sometimes the situations occur to kind of in some way find justice for this, or find to kind of put something out there regarding justice for this or that links it back to that repetitive offender, or this repetitive offense that nothing happened to. I guess one thing that's been learned from this show is that one of those repetitive offenses and offenders with regards to the web and the internet are pedophiles and pedophilia. So a benefit of this show is that we're putting out our competence and our our contribution when it comes to that type of prevention and how it relates to the web and the internet. I guess one of our strengths is keeping things separate, so that our community isn't, finds itself in a way that is not protected or where it's harmed. A progressive image can sting if it appears hypocritical, as it did in 2014 when a New York Times story chronicled how Starbucks staff scheduling software could wreak havoc on the lives of workers with kids. Scott's, of course, depends on both. Her staff now says lawyers read through every email she sent and received as Secretary of State before deeming more than half of them to be personal records and discarding them. John Boehner called on Clinton to turn over her personal server to a neutral third party, even though Clinton has said her 31,830 personal records have already been discarded. I think this is the fairest way, Boehner told reporters on March 17th, to make sure that we have all the documents that belong to the public and ultimately all the facts. 20 is the number of new cardinals chosen by Pope Francis, none from the U.S., as he diversifies Catholic Church leadership. Serena Williams, tennis player, on the cup of miracle coffee she requested after losing 6-0, the first set of a match at the Hopman Cup in Australia. And Lightbox, a tactical tilt. The cargo ship Ho Osaka, which was carrying 1,400 cars, was deliberately grounded on a submerged sandbank near the Isle of Wight in England on January the 3rd in order to keep it from capsizing. All 25 crew members were rescued overnight. Lightbox. Bill Clinton. Mario Cuomo's life story, the proud son of immigrants who raised him to believe in faith, family, and work, and to use his own gifts to enter public service and reach the pinnacle of New York politics, will always be inspiring. But it is especially important to us today because he believed that every American, native born or immigrant, should have the same chance he'd had. And that could only happen in a strong community with a compassionate, effective government. He believed to the end that our country could give anyone the chance to rise without pushing others out or down, and that at its best, the essential role of government is to give everyone a fair chance to rise. The beautiful family he created and the lives their children have lived are more than enough proof of that. He simply believed that without a hand-up government, too many people will be left behind and our country will be diminished. He believed that he could do his part to build the more perfect union of our founders' dreams. He did it with a politics like Lincoln's, whom he so admired and wrote about, based on the better angels of our nature. I think he loved his life in New York and was content to be our foremost citizen advocate, for government's essential role in building a strong American community, living and growing together. And all the years since, Mario Cuomo never stopped believing that in our hearts, Americans don't want to be divided, driven by resentment and insecurity. He saw problems and setbacks as a part of the human condition, mountains to be climbed and opportunities to be seized together. Mario Cuomo's America of community, compassion, and responsibility will live as long as there are people who believe in it as strongly as he did, who define our success by the chances we give to others who have dreams and the determination to chase them. Clinton is the 42nd president of the United States. And we'll talk more with Clinton about Clinton later. Lightbox. Cold comfort. Syria's recent stretch of icy weather has taken a toll on people living in cities like Rebel, Hell, Dwama, but it has also stymied balance. January the 7th marked the country's the country's first day without a conflict casualty in 3 years. And this is a visual on January 11th. And we're going to go back to the beat, 106.5. So we're back with Jessica Williams, comedian and Daily Show correspondent. So when we asked Jessica Williams that question, she of course declined the honor. When the Los Angeles native joined the Daily Show cast 3 years ago as the show's first Black female correspondent, she was 22 and had just finished college at California State, Long Beach. Suddenly, she was working alongside Jon Stewart, John Oliver, and Samantha Bee on the most distinctive comedy show of its era. When the Pentagon announced changes to its grooming guidelines that would have limited their hairstyles Black women could wear while in uniform, Williams took a white guy who just didn't get it to spend the day in a Black hair salon. To call out the catcalling she endures while walking a single city block, Williams found a new 55-minute long scenic route to work. One that lets her avoid the stares and jeers of teenagers at the bodega, creepy guys playing dominoes, white guys, Latino guys, Black guys, and Middle Eastern guys, and convened a panel of women to talk about their experiences of street harassment. Being Black and a woman, sometimes it feels like you have to be representative of your race, says Williams. But now I've started to get to do things that are really new and different. It makes me really excited to be that. I love that I'm Black and a woman more than ever. Jessica Williams. Jessica Bird, a 27-year-old Ohio native and Obama for America vet. Bird is an operative for Emily's List, for which she seeks volunteers to recruit and train women who otherwise wouldn't consider running for public office. So far, over 150 activists have been trained in persuading notable local women to think of themselves as candidates. Jessica Bird. On a different note, you can save 20% if you use promo code INDULGE20 at diet.cookinglight.com/indulge. Save 20%. And we're back with Lightbox. Marching on. To commemorate Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Oprah Winfrey and other cast members from Selma led thousands of demonstrators on January 18th across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, where King led his own marches from Selma, Alabama in 1965. Lightbox. Kenya. Students at a Nairobi primary school protest plans by a developer to pave over their playground. The January 19th demonstrations by about 100 students and activists drew global attention after images of armed officers using tear gas on children as young as 8 were published in the media, prompting some on social media to express their outrage via the hashtag #OccupyPlayground. Kenyan officials condemned the use of the gas against children. Sports. Its last two tries against the underdog New York Giants in 2008 and 2012 ended in crushing losses. The defending Super Bowl champs were down by 12 with a little over 2 minutes left in the NFC Championship game, yet rallied to win in overtime. New England, back in what may come to be seen as the heyday of this dynasty, if can defy Seattle's bruising defense and lead the Patriots to one more title, he may well be the best quarterback of all time. And for a little controversy, first there was Spygate, and 2007 New England was punished by the NFL after it was caught taping an opposing team's signals. Some background NFL teams supply the balls they use on a fence, and the referee inspects them before the game. They are returned to the team once the ref signs off. So, of course, being the show that we are, when it comes to, caught taping an opposing team signal, but it's all NFL. It's just a different perspective. Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister, who will address Congress at the invitation of House Speaker John Boehner. Boehner didn't consult President Obama, who won't meet with Netanyahu when he's in Washington. Lightbox. President Barack Obama and Indian Prime Minister met privately in New Delhi on January 25th to discuss issues facing both countries, from the rise of China to climate change to a civilian nuclear deal that would enable U.S. firms to build power plants in India. Well, it's doesn't, who was actually there, but a civilian nuclear deal doesn't really make sense. And it definitely doesn't seem like it will contribute to India or, being united. Leslie Harris, 1995. 1995 now. 2015. His negative experiences with police informed his work on the bench, and he's worried that the latest demonstrations for racial justice won't translate into long-term activism. 20 minutes, Australia. The time it took for tickets to sell out for the February 15th Cricket World Cup match in Adelaide between India and Pakistan. India has won all 5 World Cup matchups in the emotionally charged rivalry since the tournament began in 1975. Jordan, the U.S. said on February 3rd that it will boost aid to Jordan by $340 million. The only thing with that is that, when it comes to providing that money and you want to just, you have to always be careful when you give money to anyone anyway, and that relates the same to whether it's Australia, whether it's Jordan, whether it's Bahrain, whether it's Kenya. But when it's it's just important that it's secure and that it is appropriate, and you're not just handing money out just to give money out. I guess the question is, how could that be possible? How could it be possible? Not that the U.S. gave, that it will boost the aid to or by $340 It said will boost aid by $340 million. So how is that possible for the U.S. to do that? Is the issue $340 million in terms of possibility, or is it the U.S. Boosting aid to Jordan? Ask those type of questions, you might get those type of answers. Lightbox. In ruins, a Kurdish marksman surveys the devastation of Kobani, Syria on January 30th, days after Kurdish forces recaptured the city from ISIS. Months after fighting left the town largely abandoned. Lightbox. So of course we are still in our beyond serious topics. And I may be breezing through these light boxes, but I'm definitely not taking it lightly. In the sense of, on to the next one. Serena Williams. It was March 2001, and I was a 19-year-old focused on winning and being the best I could be, both for me and for the kids who looked up to me. And it had started to become a reality. It was a giant win, not only for her, but also for our whole family, and it marked the beginning of a new era that we were unknowingly writing. My first big tournament win also happened there when I beat in the 99 final. For all their practice, preparation, and confidence, even the best competitors in every sport have a voice of doubt inside them that says they are not good enough. I have thought about going back to Indian Wells many times over my career. It has been difficult for me to forget spending hours crying in the Indian Wells locker room after winning in 2001, driving back to Los Angeles feeling as if I had lost the biggest game ever, not a mere tennis game, but a bigger fight for equality. I understand both perspectives very well and wrestled with them for a long time. I'm fortunate to be at a point in my career where I have nothing to prove. I'm still as driven as ever, but the ride is a little easier. I have faith that fans at Indian Wells have grown with the game and know me better than they did in 2001. My only comment with that is that, there are some of us, whether the best or not, that don't have, doubt, or don't, that actually don't allow that doubt to creep in or settle. Lightbox. A worker cleans an enormous float on February the 10th in preparation for the 2015 Rio de Janeiro Carnival. The annual festival, first held in 1723, takes place before the start of Lent and attracts more than 2 million attendees. So this attracts more than 2 million attendees. I would say that that's a problem. So I'm definitely not a supporter of a Rio de Janeiro Carnival, and don't think that it should be something that has that attracts even more. Law. We are views with security into law. So how about what's trending in the law? Japanese Prime Minister said he wants to begin the process of revising the country's pacifist constitution in 2016 to allow Japan to respond to threats posed by groups like ISIS, which killed 2 Japanese hostages in January, is what this says. Well, that's definitely kind of not good if that's trending with regards to law, just because of, certain attempts to that. Beneath the front lines world. Burger King, 1954, Miami. The signature burger is the Whopper. Calories 650, fat 37 grams, carbs 50 g, sodium 910 mg. Selling point: BK, which changed corporate hands several times before merging with Canadian giant Tim Hortons in 2014, touts flame grilled burgers with the marks to match. But it has recently sold off many of its owned and operated restaurants. Burger King. 20%. How much longer mice live when they eat chow spiked with rapamycin compared with mice who nosh on normal chow? 2045, regenerative medicine may interrupt aging. If not, conservative estimates put life expectancy at 81 as high obesity rates offset other gains. Most impersonated politicians, who's up there? Bill Clinton at 106, George W. Bush 72, and George H.W. Bush 39. And we're going to go to, let's see what Nashville's doing. 101.1, The Beat. So we're back with Lightbox and marching on. 50 years after Bloody Sunday, the landmark civil rights protest that saw demonstrators attacked by state police as they walked across Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, thousands gathered to retrace the march. Among them were President Obama and his family, as well as original marchers, Congressman John Lewis and Amelia Boynton Robinson. The march is not yet over, Obama said during the March 7th event. The race is not yet won. I don't know what that means about the race is not yet won. I don't know. Just from, what it is that I have, it like, if I had to be honest about it, there's never an issue when it came to black and white. It's just different responsibilities, and that's really kind of it. It just becomes difficult when so many different communities are doing a lot of different things and everyone has their own opinion. It's like everyone has their own opinion and everyone has their own thoughts and views and this, that, and the other. But the truth of the matter is there really isn't any, there really isn't any problems when it comes to, because she's interested, one of her co-hosts, her woman of interest is white. That's why it's not a problem for her. No, just, I maybe the problem came from, something, I don't know, ambition, blind ambition when, and like, this can do this and this can't do that. And then it just kind of seemed like, but I want to do this. and it just kind of got taken the wrong way, as opposed to, every community has different responsibilities and different things and different ways that go about contributing to the whole. And then, sometimes like people don't go any further when they're that's what it seems like they don't go any further when they get stopped or when they get blocked, when someone says no to something. And then, it just kind of like, take, like, it's just kind of taking a whole like kind of way, like their maturity just kind of comes out of their lack of, from whatever, and it blocks them from being open to other possibilities that could solve that problem that they're seeking, or, because it just couldn't happen like this. But they that whatever. um anyway, I'm looking at Bill Clinton with his finger on his mouth, like, shh, no, don't talk too much. Shh, don't share too much. Will they listen anyway? Will they get it anyway? It's still going to be black and white. You're still going to be black. I'm still going to be white. And it's still going to be a race issue that, we shall overcome. As opposed to it never being, the reality of it is there was never anything to overcome. The only thing that you need to overcome is how you approach things, and your maturity when it comes to certain situations is where, you need to overcome. Like, for instance, I wrote a letter to someone, and purposely had the first sentence, like, be one where, regarding character, not in terms of a testing, but just character. Like, okay, after that sentence, I'm hoping that your maturity level allows you to go further to the next paragraph. But it's kind of like that when it comes like being like, no, you can't do this because you're black. That may be true because you're black, because it's not something that black people do. That may actually be true. It's not a part of the black community, but that doesn't mean that I'm a racist. That doesn't mean that I want to hinder you from, doing something or achieving something. It just means that what it is, black people don't do that. Black people don't do that here. There is a lot when it comes to like being united. You can imagine it's difficult uniting your family, but when you have all these different interests of nations, it's a lot when it comes to that. And keeping the peace and security that it has, and still, you know, but it's like, oh, because like, oh, you sold out. That means like, you're white. White people does this and black people do that. That means that it's racist. Like, that has nothing. Racism has nothing to do with it. When someone's racist, if they're racist, they're racist. But it doesn't necessarily mean because of black or because of white. It just means that they're racist. Anyway, let's go to Clinton. David Bondrelli. As a rule, these are words no politician wants to be speaking in the days leading up to the launch of a major campaign. What I did was to direct, my counsel to conduct a thorough investigation. Every day spent saying, trust me, my lawyer's okay with it, is a bad day. And worse, if she appears to be reading from lawyer-vetted notes. The Clinton played by their own set of rules. Representative of South Carolina, the Republican, was leading congressional select committee to investigate the 2012 attack on the U.S.'s diplomatic outpost in Libya, fumed that regrettably we are left with more questions than answers. He announced plans to haul Clinton in front of his committee twice, once to be grilled about her email and again to be interrogated anew on Benghazi. Backbiting inside the Clinton campaign, a hallmark of her failed 2008 presidential effort, has begun to leak into the political press. It's news to no one who lived through the late 1990s that Bill Clinton can be sexually reckless. But for a politician who grew up in the years of John Kennedy and Lyndon Johnson, when sexual recklessness was the presidential norm, only to find himself in the chastened age, Clinton's lifestyle required that he and his wife become good secret keepers. Okay, I did have that X'd out. So let's go back. April 22nd, 1994, in a conciliatory press conference in the state dining room, the then First Lady spoke about her role in the failed Whitewater land deal and her commodity trading. So that was April the 22nd, 1994. And that's in a brief history of Clinton's on the defensive. January the 4th, 1998. Isn't discussable. January the 7th, 2008. After losing the Iowa caucuses to Barack Obama, Hillary teared up in response to a question at a New Hampshire coffee shop about how she kept herself going on the campaign trail. So from the leak into the political press to because the Clintons did not have wealth of their own to fund their ambitions, they had to become adept at coaxing it from others. Indeed, they may be the most adept in American history, having coaxed billions of dollars from a multitude of donors, which requires a degree of flexibility in one's choice of benefactors. So the twin drivers of the Clinton soap opera have been their penchant for secrecy and their menagerie of rich associates. The drumbeat of scandals, real and puffed up, that marked Bill Clinton's presidency involved one or both elements. Looking back, it would have been better if I simply used a second email account and carried a second phone, but at the time, this didn't seem like an issue. She commissioned a review of the 63,320 messages in her account only after the department, spurred by the congressional investigation, asked her to do so. Slightly more than half the total catch, 31,830 emails, did not contain any of the search terms, according to Clinton's staff, so they were deemed to be private personal records. A former lawyer at the National Archives and Records Administration, who is now an attorney in the Washington office of Drinker, Biddle, and Weath, says, I would question why lawyers for Secretary Clinton would use keyword searching, a method known to be fraught with limitations, to determine which of the emails with a non.gov address pertain to government business. Using keywords as a shortcut, unfortunately, leaves the process open to being second-guessed. The risk that foreign governments and super-rich foreign citizens might donate to the foundation as a way of currying favor with the Secretary of State worried both Democrats and Republicans on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee when Hillary Clinton was first named Obama's top diplomat. One accounting by the Wall Street Journal totaled nearly $50 million in foreign donations, not during Clinton's term as Secretary of State, but before she took office and again after she stepped down. But that is not entirely the point. She laughs and grieves behind closed doors among a tiny group of trusted friends, while in public, as her political consultant once noted in a 1999 memo that became public record, she must work to be real in public settings. If some of his associates are less than seemingly like the billionaire Stuart Rahr, who reportedly emailed his friends a sexually explicit video he shot of 3 women in the back of a limousine, they are a testament to the ever-expanding universe known as Friends of Bill. Will that be the lesson again? These stories will reach critical mass and coverage as she gets closer to any announcement date, and they will damage her because they offer a portrayal of someone who plays fast and loose with rules. And still, to borrow from Maya Angelou, they rise. Instead, it will be the feeling of deja vu. After all, as the Clintons understood so well back at the beginning of their road, winning campaigns are about the future and start in that place called hope. with reporting by Michael Duffy, Michael Schur, Washington, Sam Frizzle, United Nations. I guess I could comment now. I've mentioned something about, not supporting Hillary and this relationship. But what I did mention, with regards to father or mother, I didn't mention that. So I guess with regards to one woman of interest that would, and UN 2020 coming up, that is something to, I guess, bring to the forefront when we have this community, a separate community that we have and affiliated with, and then you have someone like Hillary Clinton that is, it's kind of like, oh, you wanted to get out before that happens, before 2020 comes, or to be clear that they are not together, or not a couple. It's like, it's kind of like, someone being, it's kind of like you having like a father or father-in-law, and you're like, oh no, she's not gonna be my mother-in-law. She's just isn't. She's not. If she's not the one, I can't support her being like mother-in-law. That's not gonna happen. So I guess if I had a question to Bill Clinton, of course it would be regarding that. And because with that woman of interest, that puts you with the uh, uh, bride's team of fathers. So your support in bringing that distance closer together is, what I would request of you. And I couldn't support Hillary as mom because Hillary doesn't go with that togetherness. Not that Hillary Rodham isn't a good person. It's just not. I couldn't support her as mother-in-law. So I did. It wasn't. We didn't. The Late Show BT didn't talk about that just because, uh, you know, issues and questions, and he's so crazy. But yeah, that's where I'm at with that. I guess now it's here, and this is the second article, and I guess now it can be discussed. But that would be my question to Bill Clinton is, I'm putting out there like it's like I'm putting out there that I'm proposing to your daughter, and I want you to support it and be open to giving her away to me because I'm a good guy. And that's it. And to not expect, even though asking for support and giving away your daughter in common to this good guy, that doesn't equal supporting Hillary Clinton as a mom. And moving on. The nonprofit Women on 20s has launched a campaign to put a woman on the $20 bill by 2020. Among the candidates, Susan B. Anthony, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Harriet Tubman. I'm all for women. I truly am. But if you're seeking that and you're choosing the $20 bill, there's a lot to think about when it comes to that. And I don't see how any of them necessarily would be. Um, out of all the three, I'm thinking like Harriet Tubman. I'm getting like why you would probably suggest Harriet Tubman, but not Eleanor Roosevelt, and not Susan B. Anthony. Just conflicts with Susan B. Anthony. Eleanor Roosevelt, that definitely isn't a good choice, but I could definitely get how you could thank Harriet Tubman. And it's not because she's black and was with slaves, but it's 2011. Hysteria erupted in New York City after news broke that a cobra had likely escaped from the Bronx Zoo. It was later found hidden in the reptile house, spawning the brilliant parody Twitter account at Bronx Zoo's Cobra. Oh my gosh, a cobra! That is so scary. 2015. Police pursued him through a graveyard after he attempted to bite a local's dog. After he attempted to bite a local's dog. Joel Stein. No cable, no cry. Life is so much better since I cut the cord. Not to be mean, but to make myself feel superior. Since there are a few I hate, whoever makes Ku Klux Klan hoods Hobby Lobby for refusing to pay for some types of birth control for their scrapbook-loving employees, who are exactly the kind of women who wants to have anonymous one-night stands with me. Chick-fil-A for making delicious sandwiches at a busy corner in West Hollywood where a gay friend is most likely to catch me, and some tech company called named Superfish, though no matter how many articles I read about it, I have no idea what it does. They transferred me 8 different times, sometimes to departments I already spoken with, each time making me repeat my name, address, and account number before telling me their department can help me. This is when I thought of a brilliant internet startup idea of letting me hire a person in India by the hour to talk to my cable company's customer service representative in India. It was the most aggressive thing ever done to me on the telephone, and I have both received an obscene phone call from a man soliciting sex and negotiated with Hollywood publicists. Also, I couldn't mail it. I had to drive 30 minutes to a Time Warner cable store where I signed in at the front and waited to be called because people who work at Time Warner cable stores are as important as doctors. By the time the Time Warner technician failed to show up at my house and then blamed me for canceling the appointment, even though I never canceled it in the first place, I had enough. What I didn't expect out of all of this was that my TV watching experience as a cord cutter is not only cheaper, but better. No cable, no cry. And we're going to go back to Nashville, 101.5, 101.1, The Beats. Nashville, The Beats. Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister, as his party won a plurality of parliamentary seats in elections that positioned him to secure another term in office after a bitter and divisive campaign over Israel's future. Netanyahu drew criticism for anti-Arab rhetoric in the closing days of the campaign. In Lightbox. Hundreds of thousands of demonstrators gathered at the Copacabana beach in Rio de Janeiro and in other cities in Brazil on March 15th to protest President Dilma Rousseff, who is embroiled in a corruption scandal. Her approval ratings have plummeted. Lightbox. The butterfly effect. Jameson Cox. Rapid ascent to a place near hip-hop's creative and commercial peak can be traced to his command of three key skills. On a purely technical level, he's one of the most exciting rappers of his generation, possessed of both impressive agility and the capacity for tremendous force. Has issued another plot-centric, thematically complex work in which he debates whether he should leverage his celebrity to become a standard bearer for Blackness. Struggles to answer even as he rails against the demons and constraints that obstruct his journey: depression, systemic racism, substance abuse in society, police brutality. Kevin Costner. At 59, the Oscar-winning actor delved into shoot-'em-ups with Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, and 3 Days to Kill. Both efforts tanked with critics and audiences, pulling in underwhelming box office returns. Music. Jameson Cox. By the beginning of March, he simultaneously held 4 positions on the Billboard Hot 100, an accomplishment managed only once before by the Beatles, at their absolute zenith of popularity in 1964. His childhood was split between the leafy avenues of Midtown Toronto, where he lived with his white Jewish mother, and summers in Memphis with his father, a black musician. Became popular quickly. His debut, full-length 2010's Thank Me Later, topped the album charts. Nothing Was the Same, released in 2013, was colder and more soothing, an examination of the pressures and problems that stem from assuming the throne. He can shape genres, conquer charts, and bend the radio to his liking with songs released in silence. Teens by the numbers. Number of teens then, 24.4 million, 13% of population. Now, 29.5 million, 9% of the population. Better by Half. Michael Jackson, 1993. Indiana Jones Tribute, 1995. Paul McCartney, 2005. And Janet Jackson, 2004. Lightbox. A somber search. French military personnel scout for human remains and debris on March 25th, one day after a Germanwings Airbus A320 crashed in the French Alps. All 150 passengers and crew members were presumed dead, marking the worst crash in France since 1974. Lighthouse. Synchrony Bank is offering a 12-month CD and IRA CD at 1.20% APY. Three members of the Robert Morris Eagles esports team. Age 20, Homestock, Woodstock, Illinois, class freshman, gaming tag, Rozer. Chris Broadnax, age 21, hometown, Columbus, Georgia, class freshman, gaming tag, Stars 4 Eyes. Jonathan Lindell, age 19, hometown, Cary, Illinois, class freshman, gaming tag, McSleuth Burger. Robert Morris Eagles esports team. Age 20. Joel Stein, brought to you by. When my son was 3, which means he had spent more than 3 years with his body, I was giving him a bath. When he yelled with complete astonishment, "There's a hole in my butt." I feel like I'll still be sponsored if I run more, dribble the ball more, score more goals. Even though this world seems to be the first time a corporation has ever sponsored an entire children's sports league, most of the kids and parents on team were unbothered. We at least need another patch to be fair and balanced. If Fox has to be on the front of Charlie's jersey, then at the very least on the back, I need to see like a really sharp tweet. Once I showed the Fox Sports Eye website, he was even more excited since it shows both soccer and car racing. The Frozen Company, he said, referring to the film, which he passionately hates for invading his life with songs and princess games, and will not acknowledge was made by the same company that released Cars. I called Lynn Burley Manuel, AYSO's chief marketing officer, and the genius behind the sponsorship deal, which mostly amounted to the fact that the Fox Sports vice president coached both his daughters on AYSO teams. This was going to be hard to break. But that's not the point of youth soccer, and it's certainly not the point of corporate sponsorships. Said that while AYSO controlled the rights to the jerseys, might have a shot at a footwear deal, but he would have to build a major presence on social media. And those are our beyond serious topics. And before we go on to our news and topics, we're going to go to Miami, 103.5. So now we're back, and we're back with our regular news and topics. So I didn't go into that comment that was made about Bill Clinton and being sexually reckless, but that kind of going into the LGBT with Beyonce and the LGBT support. And it definitely don't want to be presented as, oh, well, then if he's the bride's team of fathers and he's sexually reckless, and this, that, and other, does that mean are you, questions like, like father-in-law, like son-in-law? So stupid is a topic, because Hillary was stupid to, be with Bill, with that whole situation, that public embarrassment. So we're going to address stupid, simply because having someone support who they have with someone else, and build a career in bank accounts and attempt to obtain ownership of property and belongings with that said support could be viewed as stupid. So I'm specifically speaking about, if, let's just hypothetically speaking, you're supporting something like, or a community like the LGBT community, and, that support is funding your career, is putting money into your bank accounts, you're obtaining ownership of cars and property and homes and, belongings, all from what you've built from this community. But that community is supporting who you know, is being presented to you that you have for a relationship with someone else. So essentially all of this is coming, you've been a part of the support. Like, let's put it with like Hillary and Bill, you know, so, you know, she's getting funds for, you know, this project for, you know, the, you know, as a senator, and all of those funds for this project for her as a senator is have been keeping, you know, Bill with some other woman. You know, and that's if they were actually like compatible. Let's say that they are compatible, which I've already mentioned that they were not. But you know, let's take out Bill and put her with um, let's call her compatible person Fred. So she's with Fred, you know, as a senator, she's putting all this money, you know, for this project for someone, and Fred is, it's keeping Fred with someone else. And she's, you know, getting money from it, you know, as a salary, and, you know, in addition to being a senator, but it's still keeping her Fred with someone else. That could be viewed as stupid. So we're going to address that. So what is the truth? Is the truth that, you know, the L word being presented as who you're with, is that not the truth? Is it not relevant? So, you know, whether you got your money from LGBT community projects isn't relevant also. And that's R.E. Catherine. But R.E. Beyonce Giselle, well, even if there was an L word, it was still in support of LGBT. So, you know, even if there was a link to what I have with regards to, you know, the L word or whatever else, it still had that LGBT support, and that community was still supporting LGBT. So that's R.E. Beyonce Giselle. Or R.E. Catherine. How is it addressed when we have responsibilities of women and they, the women, are not likely to respect nor follow a woman who function? Is to have them appear stupid in business, whether it's politics and relationships, and how it all connects. How are you to reassure them that you won't continue to support them supporting stupid situations? Because if you did it once, you'll do it again, right? If you fell into that ideology here, what if you fall into the ideology somewhere else? Again. And what about all that support and all those friends who truly did not support the LGBT community? So because of that, I wanted to do Nicki Minaj, Stupid Hoe, and Pink, Stupid Girls. They get it cracking like a bad bat. Bitch talking she the queen when she looking like a lab rat. I'm Angelina, you Jennifer. Come on, bitch. She see where Brad at. Ice my lips and I piss some bitches. You can suck my distance if you take the distance. You don't like them distance. Give my ass some kisses. Yeah, they know what this is giving this the bitch. Cause I pull up and I'm something, but I ain't a stunt man. That's some rocking Jordans, but I ain't a jump man. Man, put me on the job because I'm who they trust in. Hey, yo. What's the fuck is good? We should platinum. The bitches should been wood. The nappy headed hoes with my kitchen good. I wish a bitch would. You a stupid hoe. 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 You a hoe. You a stupid 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 hoe. Look, Bubbles, go back to your habitat. MJ gone. I ain't having that. I gonna be the son double to the nigga monkey. Top of that, I'm in the fence looking hella chunky. And I put some bitches, you can suck my distance if you take this just as you don't like them disses, get my ass some kisses, yeah, I know what this is, giving this the best, cause I pull up in the Porsche, but it ain't the Rossi. Pretty bitches only get in my posse. That's her name is, last name is for no relation. Hey yo, baby pop, you your EP, who's gassing this whole BP? Thanks. 1, 2, 3 to the I believe cause this hoe so musty, hoe so crusty. These bitches my sons and I don't want custody. Hoe so musty, hoes are so crusty. These bitches my sons and I don't want custody. You a stupid hoe. 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 You a hoe. You a stupid 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 hoe. If you cute, then the crew can roll. If you sexy, eat my cuckoo raw. Put your cape on, you a super hoe. 2012, I'm at the Super Bowl. Stupid hoes is my enemy. Stupid hoes is so whack. Stupid hoes should have befriended me. Then she could have probably came back. Stupid hoes is my enemy. Stupid hoes is so whack. Stupid hoe should have befriended me. Then she could have probably came back. You're a stupid hoe. You're a stupid hoe. You're a stupid hoe. And I ain't hit the note, but fuck you, stupid hoe. I fuck you, stupid hoe. I said, fuck you, stupid hoe. You fuck a stupid hoe. I said, fuck a stupid hoe. You fuck a stupid hoe. I said, fuck a stupid hoe. You fuck a stupid hoe. I am the female. If you got a chance to see the video, then you could probably think, oh, well, she put the stupid hoe in a cage, or did she? Another vibe is that it's coming from, or it came from an out-of-network perspective, is what it's kind of showing. So maybe the issue involves out-of-network in our relations. So that would include Zon and Morning. So a possible solution is that since you were put in it, put in that type of situation, where it's like, oh, you're a part of this, community, and you're building your life and getting money and getting paid and et cetera, and found a way to fulfill and satisfy, but it still has this element to it. That would mean that everyone that works directly with you will be 100% in network, is how that will be addressed and resolved. And the only thing with that is that when it comes to mom and dad, or Mary's on and William Morning Third, and even Jennifer Beals, that means that would be, couldn't be direct, just because, why is stupid hoe here? So we got to address that. So that would mean that those situations, I guess, would be referred to myself or others for family, personal, business, corporate issues, because they kept that type of misdirected support away from me while away from you. So that's how we approach that whole stupid situation. That maybe it's just showing, maybe it's served, that's its purpose. We gotta address what was the purpose? To make you look like a stupid hoe, or to address those issues even when it relates to people that are close to you. Like, for instance, if LL Cool J and Gwyneth Paltrow were to connect, It's like you have to get that distance when it comes to Gwyneth, and it will be more like, oh well, because James Todd Smith is 100% in network. It wasn't with that stupid hoe. That's just, and then you want like, oh, well, is this person my friend, or this one is, just to alleviate all of that. That's how that could be resolved. And then we're gonna go to Pink Stupid Girls. Stupid girls, stupid girls. So I guess I'll vibe more about the stupid hoe while this is coming up. So how do you know who's 100% in network and who isn't? I guess that's where I guess that's something that will just come from just being together, I guess. But that's if I was the woman, that's what I would want. That protection from, like, oh, being put in a situation, and I would want protection from that stupid hoe situation, or the doubt that may come from women that's in that whole stupid hoe support. So when the answer comes to think about how that can be prevented, then that's how. And it's like, oh, that would include my parents. How does that relate to like the academy? So that's what that would mean as well. That would mean that the academy, supporting the academy it would have to be with those that are 100% in network, and couldn't be direct with any that isn't. And unfortunately, there's like only one that is currently there that is 100% in network. And then there's questions there, even with that particular one. So it's those type of things. So then it's like anything that's related to the academy, you couldn't do anything related to the academy until those dynamics change. Because of what is relating to them and what's in there, what it is that they have. And if you don't have that compatibility, the likelihood of them having you in a situation becomes very slim. And it's not about them not wanting to, it's just a little different. So it's like, oh, you just gotta chill when it comes to situations regarding the academy until those dynamics change and until there's more 100% in network representatives there, whether it's trustees, whether it's the board, whether it's directors, whether it's executive, whether it's teachers, faculty, but it would 100% in network. And then that stupid hoe, because it's different. You have Nicki Minaj's stupid hoe, you a stupid hoe, but then going into Pink's stupid girls, one's out of network, the other's in network, and the energy of it is different. One, I don't want to be, the other, you are. So you want to be protected mentally and emotionally. And sometimes, that would mean, like I say, even my parents, so that, like, even with the bride's team of fathers, so that would mean that even with the bride's team of fathers, there's kind of like one that would be a more relevant. So yeah, stupid heart. So we're gonna go into Pink's stupid girls now. Stupid girls, stupid girls. Maybe if I act like that guy will call me that. Wanna paparazzi girl? I don't wanna be a stupid girl. Go to first single, you find a girl. Laughing lost on the little people stare. Looking for a daddy to pay for the champagne. What happened to the dreams of a girl president? She's dancing in the video next to 50 Cent. The traveling packs up 2 or 3 with that itsy bitsy dollars and their teeny weeny teens. Have the smart people gone? Oh, where could they be? Maybe if I act like that guy will call me that. Wanna paparazzi girl? I don't wanna be a stupid girl. Baby, if I act like that, flipping my blonde hair back, push on my blonde like that. I don't wanna be a stupid girl. Disease is growing, it's epidemic. I'm scared that there ain't a cure. The world believes it and I'm going crazy. I cannot take anymore. I'm so glad that I never fit in. That will never be me. Outcast and girls with ambition. That's what I wanna see. Disasters all around. World despairs. Your only concern. Will it fuck up my hair? That guy will call me back. Wanna paparazzi girl? I don't wanna be a stupid girl. Baby, if I act like that, flipping my blonde hair back, push on my blonde like that. I don't wanna be a stupid girl. Pretty will you fucking girl, silly, I'm so lucky girl. Pull my hand and suck a girl, stupid girl. Pretty will you fucking girl, silly, I'm so lucky girl. Pull my hand and suck a girl, stupid girl. Baby, if I act like that, flipping my blonde hair back, push up my blonde like that, stupid girl. Maybe if I act like that guy will call me back. Wanna paparazzi girl? I wanna be a stupid girl, baby. If I act like that, flipping my blonde hair back, push up my bra like that. I wanna be a stupid girl, if I act like that, flipping my blonde hair back, push up my bra like that. Stupid girl, stupid girl, stupid girl, stupid girl, stupid girl. So that was one out of network, one in network, both about the issue of being stupid. So that resolve again is that because the outer network, what the outer network put out there in terms of you a stupid hoe versus what the M network put out there in terms of I don't want to be stupid, that the suggestion is 100% in network, work directly with. And that I have the I'm going to call them the mixers, but the ones that are not 100% in network, but still have that security relevancy. Just because, it wasn't put here, it was put there, and it wasn't cool. So, R.E. Beyonce, Giselle, the genocide update. So guilt, it was mentioned before regarding the National Family Carter, but it also includes what wasn't mentioned was that I guess there's not one but two, and that would be the National Family Carter and the National Family Corey. So we put an update on the Facebook page, but even though it's Corey, regarding Corey and Carter, still have to refer to a different regarding resolve. We have been wonderfully reminded of the Solange and Jay-Z elevator incident, that it is not a necessity to be resolved with what we have with jurisprudence. So the update, again, because of Jay-Z and Solange elevator incident, reminder, lately showed BT has withdrawn its resolve suggestion, and that's the 5 and or 15 years in Texas jails relating to genocide guilt towards the Carter family, and now it is being also communicated, the Carter family and the Corey family, by Beyonce, Giselle Knowles, and suggests a different Jay-Z. So that it is not of our resolve to provide Beyonce, Giselle Knowles with our guidance, nor property association with any jails in Texas or otherwise. Another note is, even though the LGBT community is being linked to Beyonce, Giselle, genocide is not a part of its LGBT. In other words, even though there are questions about its support, genocide does not equal LGBT. And before we go to our fashion art showings, we're going to go back to Miami 103.5. The Beat. $94.1. That puts us in Savannah. So we're going to go right into our fashion art showings. With A for Outer Banks. SCW for Mania Fitness Pro Conventions. Cigars International. The Trust for Public Land. Paul Frederick. Photographs, Christopher Morris. Illustration, Brian Stauffer. Photograph, Mark Peterson, Madison, Wisconsin. David Vondrelli for Time. Lexus for Sports Illustrated Swimsuit 2015. Michael Connolly, Boss. John Carlo, marchforbabies.org. Joel Stein, Time. AT&T. Photographs, Michael Freiberg. David Vondrelli for Time. Rosetta Stone. And Paul Frederick. And we're going to go right into our fitness with Kimberly Grenenga. For a great lower body strength workout, all you need is a flight of stairs. Varying the approach to the ascending half of a staircase workout allows exercisers to target specific areas of the lower body. Strength gains in the calves are determined by the climbing style of the individual, specifically how the foot leaves each step. These lower body muscles are outperformed in a stair climbing workout by two other players, the heart and lungs. This turned out to be a blessing in disguise. The best advice she gave was to walk, not run. She said it would be taxing on the lungs, not the legs. As I approached the final chute, I was breathing so hard I could taste iron. In fact, Bishop and his colleagues find stair climbing to be so effective, they used to work out with every athletic team on campus. Student athletes find this workout brutal. Bishop emphasizes the importance of using the ball of the foot when ascending, not the toes. Furthermore, if traveling back down the staircase is part of your workout, you should absorb the impact with your glutes. To avoid knee injuries, Bishop advises exercisers to keep the kneecap in line with or behind the toes while descending the stairs. Instructors could also stagger start times at the bottom of the flight of stairs. Kimberly Grenenga, AFLA-certified fitness professional, teaches heavy bag class, kickboxing, and weightlifting at the training center in Cedar Falls, Iowa. She is also an adjunct faculty member in languages and literature at the University of Northern Iowa and nonfiction editor of North American Review, the nation's oldest literary magazine. .1, Savannah. So we are back, and with our out-of-network spotlight. Jublia is specifically formulated to reach the site of onychomycosis and fight the fungus that can live beneath the toenail, allowing some patients to have clearer toenails grow back. Before you use Jublia, tell your doctor about all your medical conditions, including if you are or plan to become pregnant, are breastfeeding, or plan to breastfeed, because it is not known whether Jublia can harm an unborn fetus or nursing infant. The most common side effects include ingrown toenail, redness, itching, swelling, burning or stinging, blisters, and pain. Tell your doctor about any side effects that bother you or do not go away. Our out-of-network spotlight is Jublia. And I guess since we have time, we can include a little bit more information about Jublia. So before you use Jublia, tell your healthcare provider about all your medical conditions, including if you are pregnant or plan to become pregnant, are breastfeeding or plan to breastfeed. Wait for at least 10 minutes after showering, bathing, or washing before applying Jublia. The most common side effects include ingrown toenail, redness, itching, swelling, burning or stinging, blisters, and pain. Tell your healthcare provider if you have any side effects that bother you or that does not go away. Store Jublia at room temperature between 68 degrees Fahrenheit to 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. Keep the bottle tightly closed and store in an upright position. Um, Inactive ingredients include alcohol, anhydrous acid, butylated hydroxytoluene, C1215 alkyl lactate, cyclomethicone, disoproyl adipate, disodium acetate, and purified water. This patient information has been approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. So again, our out-of-network spotlight is Jublia. So we have time to just vibe. But before we do that, let's check out the beat. Now let's go back to 106.5. So that's 106.5 the beat. And I guess what not just vibe about what is at the forefront right now, that's belief. So what do you do when you believe in something, you know, that, and then it's like, oh, did you get the memo? That's not a part of your beliefs. The beliefs that we have. And belief is what's going to be instrumental in bringing us together. So if that's not where our beliefs are, then, that's at least maybe that helps because you have something specific, um, you know, that has been going on for years and years and years, and that was considered measurable or quantifiable or qualifiable, but it wasn't worthy of belief because of conflict. And if there's conflict in it, how is it worthy of belief? So belief is what's going to be instrumental in bringing us together. So I just use what's available and what's here, and what was coming out was stupid. Why stupid? Because it's just those things that part of those things that we have, and we have the good. It's good when we have responsibilities, but what happens when we have stuff like stupid? What happens when you have stuff like ugly? It's good to be beautiful. What happens when you have ugly? We still have to have a certain responsibility to what is not ideal either. I mean, to what is also not ideal. So belief, surrendering that, but it also comes with the reality of certain things regarding people you've known for years, other actors, other people in the art community. It's also relevant. So brings us to 100% in network. So if you don't know who they are, if you don't know what that is, and if therefore this coming together, then I guess they will understand that it's part of the process, and that other piece that keeps that connection is me. And I guess there are other reasons why this was put there like that in yours. And this is R.E. Catherine. I guess there are other reasons that goes with stuff like I don't like the in network. I don't want to be stupid. Stupid girl that came about because of that, and just needed something specific that is identifiable with regards to relationships that we have. I was like, oh, well, how do you say no to your parents when they spend so much time to you or your mom, and put all that time in cultivating you and putting you out into the world, but it goes to how you have people, and part of how they have you or how they have, what we have will be letting go of that and going about it and how it can be, how it can happen. And if that's a resolve to this stupid hole, because it's different when the security is there with with what's in network. So sometimes there's problems and challenges when the family that is not in network. And that is what that is what I'm hoping to, having 100% network will protect you from. Of course, with guidance and leadership, the out of network associate to the family, kind of feeds off of that in network one, but yes, I just like being protective, and because of that, that is my preference. Um, um, there is that difference where, the stupid hoe is kind of coming from 100% out of network, as opposed to it being partial. That is true. Um, but it's still the situation when you don't know how to be in network and you find yourself being with that 100% out of network. And that's where the problem comes from. When you are not in it, when you don't know how to be who you are, when you're making choices that's not indicative of you being like completely, fully present with what it is that we have. And we're working to, have a situation where people can support like a nonprofit and you're getting that, backing with regards to your livelihood as a benefit of being connected, whether it's presently or financially, and that way, yeah, that situation guarantees that, in those situations, that becomes a different situation because it's guaranteed, it's specifically backed by the nonprofit that we will have. Um, so that's different. But when it's not something that guarantees that, it puts into that possibility that you're just like an out of network, and is that what we need with regards to who we are and what we have is that link to security. So, until that happens, being the protective person that I am, that's what I feel as though, yeah, if I could just say, oh yeah, that's what I feel as though it needs to happen in the situation. So if that means being alone and you're doing like the teddy bear method while this is happening and coming together until we have something that guarantees, and then it opens that up to like even our family members or other associates and business partners, and that's how it needs to be, because something that is like very instrumental, such as belief, anything that doesn't help that, like when it's out of network, it tends to go into that that doesn't go with our belief. That doesn't go with belief because it's not connected properly. Um, so yeah, belief, stupid hoe. You're a stupid hoe. It becomes difficult. What the difficulty is and the challenge is that when you have, when you have how to keep it all together, like how to be fully present when, like I mentioned, having children that have that has put themselves out there and have presences beyond being local, and how to be there for them when they are beyond local. How is that possible? And it being connected to a secure situation. So it's kind of what is being brought up with this, that it needs to be in network, or if it's a partial 100% in network, or if it's a partial situation that, if it's individual or if it's a business, that individual or that business needs to be connected to um, that security so that it's guaranteed. And that's what needs to happen, because I care about the mind and the body and the spirit of my woman of interest. Um, and if you care about who we are and what we have and our responsibilities, then you chill uh, and be patient and uh, be who you are in this situation right now. And if that means taking a step back and not calling it, or explaining why, or then that's what that means. So this has been the Late Late Show with BT. It appears that we were having some technical difficulties with because we were broadcasting with Yahoo and Bambuser. So it seems like we're having some technical difficulties with Bambuser because it was interrupted. But it's up and running now. So all that we care about, just kind of take a step back and allow us to come together. If you are not 100% in network, so that not being connected to security at a particular time doesn't cause a conflict with the belief that we need to have, especially when there's been that, vulnerability of being a part of the LGBT community, and it just kind of like not being worthy. So this has been a Late Late Show with BT. Bye.